Hello friends, let's continue with differentiability. Today we are going to focus on something which is non-derivable for a function. So quick recap before we proceed with anything. This is what we did in the previous session. We said that if you have a function, so at any point, suppose this is a point A of this function, y is equal to f of x. At any point, if you want to know your function is derivable or not, you should be saying that whether it is smooth or not. And basically we want a tangent, a unique tangent to be at that point. So this we illustrated in the previous session, saying that we are looking forward for the slope of a secant. Okay. So there is a point at a distance h from a given point, and then this is what? This is f of x plus h minus f of x, and then the slope of this line, the secant line, is what? The slope of secant line is f of a plus h minus f of a upon h. If we make h tending to 0, that means I want a point which is very closer to a. So this secant actually goes to and coincide with this tangent. So what happens? So that is the derivative at that point. Or we said that instantaneous rate of change, slope of a tangent, or derivative of a function, all are one and the same things. And then we also saw that if my y is a function of x, then if I want derivative at any point of this curve, that will definitely be a function of x, right? So instead of a, I can write any arbitrary point x of that function, and the same thing is going to give me the derivative function. This is a function of x. Also, the other way to write is that the numerator is a change in y, which you can clearly see. Let's write it as delta y. Denominator is the change in x. Let's write it delta x. And then what do you want? You want limit, okay? H goes to 0. What is h? H is change in x, right? That is your h. So you want your delta x to go to 0. Okay? And so this also we write as my dy by dx. Okay, so these are the basic things about derivative of the function. Now, if we know that for any function this is how we find a derivative, then we can find out derivative of all the elementary functions we know. Okay, like sin x, exponential function, inverse functions, okay, logarithmic function. So for any textbook, if you can refer, you can get derivatives of the proof of derivatives of all the elementary functions. Few of them I have listed here. So I am not going to focus on these things today, but you have to be very okay. So you have to be very so basic rules of differentiation. Okay. So what is basic rule of differentiation? Okay. So that is that if you want to find derivative of a constant function, it's a 0. Okay. So you can use a formula. Okay, in this it is very clear, like if it's a constant function, then you change your x, right, from x to x plus h. Your y doesn't change, right? There is no change in y. Okay, that's why the derivative should be 0. And other ones you can just use your first principle, saying that whatever definition we did, okay, this definition you can use, and you can get derivative of a function. Okay. So the sum of two functions, if you want to find the derivative, it is individual derivative sum. Okay, so you have product rule, that if you want to find derivative of product of two functions, then it is first function into derivative of the second, plus second function into derivative of the first. Similarly, you have quotient rule. So all these things you need to know the proof, as well as you need to memorize all these things. Okay, so you should be very good at finding derivatives of any function given. So this last thing is very important, which is called chain rule, that if I have a composite function, that is f is a function of g is a function of x, and you want to find derivative of this, what do? You try to find out the derivative of the outer function, okay, with respect to the inner function. Okay, so what do? You say that you write like this, df over dg. Okay, if you want, you can just write of a function of x. And then what do? You find the derivative of the inner function, because now that is your function of x. You just do this. So basically you keep on multiplying. That's a chain rule. Okay, if I just write three functions, what do? If I write h of f of g of x. Okay, there are three functions now. You keep on doing your dh over what? D f of g of x. Okay, then you do what? D of f of g of x over d of g of x. Okay, so this is chain rule. That is why it is called chain. You form a chain. You keep on just finding the derivatives. This. Okay. So assuming that you will be fine with all these things, because these are all standard bookkeeping. Okay, any standard book will give you all these proofs, which will be, if you understand the limit concept as well as the algebra behind it, no problem. Now let's focus what we want to do today. Derivative at a point. So can you see that if you have any smooth curve, okay, so all the basic functions which you know, like polynomials, right? Polynomial function are smooth functions, exponential functions are smooth functions, all trigonometric functions are smooth functions, okay, barring the points which are not in the domain, okay, they are smooth functions. So for all these smooth functions, you can check that at if any point you want to have a tangent, not a problem, right? Any point you just pick, you can draw a unique tangent there. If I pick just a point, I can draw a unique tangent there, right? Not a problem. So when my function will not be derivable, okay, number one, if I want to check that my function is not continuous at the given point, of course, right? Continuity is the prerequisite to find derivability. If my function is not continuous, it is not derivable, okay? Why? Because if my function is derivable, okay, then we can prove that it is continuous, okay. Now if I put negation on both sides, if I say not continuous, okay, then this implied thing is on the opposite direction, it says not derivable, okay. So not continuous means not derivable, and derivable, if it is derivable, it is continuous, okay. So that is how it goes. So can you give me an example of a function which is not continuous? So many, right? I mean the one which you might have this, right? What is this? Reduced integer function, right? It has so many points where it is not continuous. Then of course what? At all these points it won't be derivable also, okay? Because all the integer points it is not continuous. Then at all the integer points it is not derivable, okay? At all x is equal to n, where n belongs to z, this function is not derivable. Second, that the function has kinks and corners, okay? Whenever you see a spike in the function, if you draw the graph and you see a spike in the function, that means what? That means a spike, or let's say corner in the function, then your function is not derivable at that point, okay? How? Let's take an example to see that. Like y is equal to modulus of x is the simplest one, okay? So how do you draw that? So, okay, that is what I keep on emphasizing, that for understanding the calculus, the graph things should be very handy and the limit concept should be very handy, okay. So here you see that this is your graph, okay. Now if I approach my function from this side at 0, okay, what is the tangent to the function? This line itself is the tangent to the function. If I approach 0 from this side, my tangent is this. So at the point 0, you don't have a unique tangent, right? So at x is equal to 0, your function is not derivable, okay. And the beauty of this modulus function is, whichever function, if you put a modulus, it becomes non-derivable at the points, I will show you what, where it changes sign, okay. So for instance, let's say e to the power modulus of x, okay, if I take this function. Otherwise, see, exponential function is very smooth function, right? Not a problem. But once I put a modulus, what happens? Okay, so here you see that, okay, so let's draw the complete exponential function first. So this is your exponential function, right, with a negative part. But if you have put modulus, that means what? The only you have to treat the positive sign, okay, and the same will be getting reflected on this part, okay. So though it doesn't look as I have drawn, here you have a corner, okay, and here your function becomes non-derivable, because this side the slope will be different and from here the slope will be different. So again at x is equal to 0, your function won't be derivable. Okay. Number third, we will do more questions, then it will be more clear to you, okay. Just let's get through this point first. So slope at the given point is not defined, okay. What does that mean? Slope at a given point is not defined. that means your tangent, okay, whatever tangent you have, okay, it's making angle. So this is not a function, so let's not draw that. Okay, at any point if you have tangent, okay, which is making 90-degree angle, okay, then what is the slope? Tan of pi by 2, right? You are going to say that it is infinity, not defined. So if you have a vertical tangent at any point of your curve, you will say that your slope is not defined, hence your function is not differentiable. Okay. For instance, let's take the simplest one, like y cube root. Okay, anything you can take, any 1 by 5, 1 by 7, any one. Okay, that's okay. So but you already know the graph of that. Okay, this is the graph of x1 third, okay, cube root of x. Now can you see at x is equal to 0 what is happening? You have a vertical tangent, right? So that slope is not defined. Okay, and so what? So your function is not differentiable at 0, not derivable. Differentiable and derivable are interchangeable words. Okay, not derivable at x is equal to 0. Let's take one more. Okay, so if I give you another simplest one, root of modulus of x. Okay, how does it look? So whenever you have modulus, you just draw without modulus. Okay, for x positive, how does it look? For x positive, your function looks like this. Since it's a modulus, okay, for negative values also you are going to get the same y values. So this. Okay, so this is your function. And can you see again at x is equal to 0, the tangent is vertical. Okay, so again at x is equal to 0, your function is not derivable or not differentiable. Great. Okay, so I have taken the simplest of the examples. Okay, now let's do something more. So here you can see that I just drew the graph and show you what is happening, okay, because that is the understanding behind that. Okay, now what happens is we may get different kind of functions. How do we check whether my function is differentiable or not? Okay, or what are the points where it will not be differentiable? Okay, so let's brush up through these points. What are they saying? Okay, so if I want to check differentiability, what do I do? Number one, graphically, that is what we have been doing till now, isn't it? Like I just draw the graph and see that whether there is a corner or not. If there is a corner, we just check that, not check, if I really know graphically that there is a corner, it's definitely not differentiable. Or if I can see that there is a vertical tangent, I know my function is not differentiable. Okay. So what next? Suppose I am not sure with the graph, okay. So what I can do is I can use the basic definition of differentiability, isn't it? I can use the basic definition of differentiability. What is that? That is, if I want to check at a point whether my function is derivable or not, this is my basic definition, right? The one which we looked at. So this is a over h. Okay. Now if my limit exists, then I will say my function is differentiable at a. If doesn't exist, then I will say it won't. Okay, and we will do some problems, okay, on based on that. So that is one thing. The third point, that find derivative using basic rules. Like now, since we know that if you give me any function, I will be able to find its derivative. Okay, so just find its derivative and then see where is the problem. Okay, what point the derivative is creating a problem, so that I can again check whether my limit at that point exists or it doesn't exist. Okay, then I will be sure that whether it is derivable or not at that point. Okay, so let's do some problems. I have taken a simplest of the examples to show, to demonstrate all the three ways in which you want to do. So you have y is equal to modulus of log x. Let's see how this graph looks like. Okay, so let's draw it. This, I want to draw my log function. So forget about modulus first. Okay, let's quickly draw the log function. So log function, you already know that this is how log function looks like. Let's draw it better. Yeah, so like this. Okay, it grows slowly. Okay, very slowly. Okay. So here what, this value is 1, right? Log 1 is 0. Okay, other points I am not referring to. So this is how your log function looks like. Now when you put a modulus, what does that mean? Modulus of this function. That means if it is positive, not a problem. Whenever it is negative, you make numerically positive. Okay, that means you want to reflect this part on the other side. So your function is going to look like this. I mean, yeah, so let's not, okay, this. Now what? This green function is your modulus of log function. Now you can what? You can clearly see it here, right? That this is the point where you have a corner, right? So graphically x is equal to 1, okay, at x is equal to 1, your function is not differentiable, not derivable. Any other point do you think will be a problem? No, right? Everything is smooth, not a problem. So if I have to just tell, then I would have just told that okay, x is equal to 1 is the point where your function is not derivable. Now let's see how I could have used the basic definition. Okay. So now what do you see? If I want to use a basic definition, okay, and I want to check at x is equal to 1 whether my function is derivable or not, what do I do? Okay, first of all, why should I check at x is equal to 1? Because I know that this changes sign at x is equal to 1, right? Because you know what is this function? This function is log of x, okay, when your x is greater than or equal to 1, and minus of log of x when your x is greater than 0 but less than 1. It is not defined for 0 or negative values, isn't it? So this, okay, so now what do I see? 1 is a problem, right? At 1 you are changing your function. Other than that, your log function is a smooth function. That's why I want to check at 1. Okay, so let's check. So using basic definition, at x is equal to 1, what do you want to find out? You want to find out whether f prime of 1 exists or not, right? So you need to want, let's use your basic definition, h goes to 0, f of x plus a plus h, okay, so here a is 1, okay, 1 plus h minus f of 1 over h. Now let's insert the function value, okay, what is your function? Modulus, okay, so let's see. So you have h log of modulus log of 1 plus h, okay, and then you have modulus log of 1, you know that log of 1 is 0, right, upon h. So now what? Okay, let's write it here. So you have limit, okay, now you have to make cases, okay, that h goes to, how do you check whether limit exists or not? That you are approaching 0 from positive side, you are approaching 0 from negative side. If you get the same value, your limit exists, otherwise it doesn't, okay. So what do? You say that this log 1 is 0, I just remove it from here, okay. Now what do you have? If you are approaching 0 from positive side, okay, what happens to this function? Log 1 plus h, okay. So h, you are moving from positive side, so this log is slightly, okay, argument of this log is slightly greater than 1, okay, and if you draw the log function, if you are slightly greater than 1, your function is positive, isn't it? Your function is positive. Now if your function is positive, then you can just remove your modulus, okay, you can just write log 1 plus h over h, right? And what is this? Okay, you might have done the limit problems. This limit is nothing but 1, okay. Let's look at the other one. So you want limit h goes to 0 from negative side, okay. So if my h is coming to 0 from negative side, that means this is a slightly negative number, okay. So you are a little before 1, right? You are somewhere here before 1. Your log function is what? Negative, isn't it? So modulus of this will be minus of log. Okay, I am using basic definition of modulus. Now again, what is this limit? This whole limit is 1 and minus is intact, so you have minus 1. What do you get? You get that these two numbers are not same, okay. That means you just told that f prime of 1 does not exist, right? Same thing, okay. We have answered the same question, okay. So it doesn't exist, we knew earlier also, okay, but now we have some more information, okay. What more information? That if you are approaching 1 from this side, your slope is positive 1, and if you are approaching from this side to 1, your slope is negative 1, okay. So of course the slopes are not same, so your function is not derivable, okay. So let's come to the last point, finding derivative. Now if we are very well versed, by now you should be, okay, because if you are doing this, that finding derivative shouldn't be a problem, okay. So if you have your function f of x, okay, just now we wrote is what? Log of x when your x is greater than or equal to 1, and minus log of x when your x lies between 0 and 1. Okay. Now we simply find the derivative of this function. Okay. So log function is a basic function. So if I want to find the derivative, not a problem, I will just say, okay, this derivative is 1 by x when x is greater than or equal to 1, and this will be minus 1 by x when your x lies between 0 and 1. Okay. Now see, x is strictly positive, okay, so it doesn't matter. So if you are approaching 1 from left hand side, okay, so let me write like this. Okay. If it is fine, I will write like this, okay, 1 minus, okay, f prime of 1 minus, that means you are approaching 1 from the negative side. This value is negative 1, okay, and f prime of 1, if you are approaching from positive side, it is 1. So again, these two are not same, okay, so f prime 1 does not exist, okay. So what did we do? We demonstrated, okay, we just saw that using any of the three, we should be able to find out whether my function is derivable or not at a particular point, okay. So, and when to use all these things, okay, depends, okay, once you see the function, you will be clear in your mind that which one will be easier for you. Okay. So let's see, quick one more question. Suppose this, okay, modulus of x cube, okay, so if I draw the graph, x cube graph you already know, isn't it? So x cube graph, if you draw, it's something like this, okay, but modulus of x cube, the same thing, you have to flip, whatever is negative you have to flip up, okay. So this is what is your y is equal to modulus of x cube, okay. Do you think this point should be a problem? The way I have drawn, it doesn't look as if this point is a problem, okay. But suppose I am not sure, okay, after drawing, even after drawing, I am not sure whether this point should be a corner point or not. What should I do? I should go to any one of those, right? So first one I don't like, so what do? I say that, okay, so let's use the third one. Okay. Let's say that my function is this, x cube when x is greater than or equal to 0, okay, using modulus function definition, if it is less than or strictly less than 0. Okay. Now let's find quick derivative, okay, derivative y prime, okay. So y prime, writing f prime of x, writing dy by dx, all are the one and the same things, okay. So y prime is what? 3x squared when x is greater than or equal to 0, and minus 3x squared when x is less than 0. Fine. So what? Let's check at 0, because other than 0 I don't have a problem, okay. So what is y prime at 0 if you are approaching from positive side? Can you see? If you are approaching from positive side, you plug in 0, it's 0, okay, not a problem. If you approach from negative side, again 0. Are they equal? Yes. Limit exists? Yes. Okay. So limit exists. So derivative, the function is derivable at all x belongs to R. Okay, at all points. At all points. There is no point of non-derivability at all points. Okay. This was a simple one. Okay. Now let's have something more trickier. Okay. Let's look at this. What do you think? The very first thing, right? Graph. Do you think you will be able to draw the graph? Maybe some will be, okay, but it doesn't look that simple, isn't it? What should I do? Second point, use the first principle. But in order to use the first principle, first I should be clear that what is my point of, contention. Where do I have a problem? It is even not clear. Where do I have a problem? So we have to boil down in the third one. Okay, what does the third one says? That just find the derivative. Okay, so let's find the derivative. So let's see how we can find the derivative y prime. Okay, using our chain rule, what do I get? 1 over 2. Okay, so assume that this inside function is some u. Okay, so so root u. What is derivative of root u? 1 over 2 root u. Okay, u I am going to write the complete thing again. 1 over 2 root u. Then what do? You find the derivative of the inner function. Okay, let's find the derivative of the inner function. 0 minus. Now I want to find derivative of root 1 minus x square. Okay, so in order to find derivative, let's call this again as z. Okay, so what is the derivative here? Again 1 upon 2 root z. Okay, so 1 upon 2 root 1 minus x square. Then again derivative of the inner function. Okay, what is that? Okay, minus 2z minus 2x. This is my derivative using a chain rule. Okay, so okay, what else? That's it, right? So you have x upon 2 root 1 minus under root. Okay, any point you think I have missed or it should be elaborated more, just drop me a feedback or a comment so that I may try to work on it. Okay. So yeah, this is what you get. Now what do you think? Where do you have a problem in this function? Clearly, right? What do you see? That when this is 0, right, we have a problem. Okay, so what are those points? At x is equal to plus or minus 1. At x is equal to plus or minus 1, you have a problem. What happens at that point? Okay, your y prime happens to be, okay, some plus or minus 1 over what? Over infinity, over 0, sorry. Okay, so this will be plus or minus infinity depending upon whatever is x. Okay, so what? That means you have a vertical slope, right? That means function is not derivable. Okay, not derivable at plus or minus 1 because you got the third thing, right? Remember, is it continuous? Does it have a corner point? Does it have a vertical tangent? Okay, so third point is here. So the function is not derivable. What else? Do you see any other point where you have a problem? When this goes to 0, right? When this goes to 0, when your x is 0, right? So at x is equal to 0, you have a problem. What happens at x is equal to 0? Let's check. This is 0, right? And even this is 0. So you get 0 by 0 form, right? Indeterminate. So what do you think if it is indeterminate? Indeterminate means that I don't know, okay, whether at that point my limit exists or it doesn't. It may exist, right? So what do? I have to check separately at x is equal to 0. Okay. Now I know what is my point of contention. So I will check separately at x is equal to 0. I will use the first principle. Okay. So what does first principle says? That f prime at 0, if at all it exists, this limit should exist, right? Limit h goes to 0, f of 0 plus h minus f of 0 over h. Okay. Now let's plug in the values. Okay. So my function is this, under root 1 minus. Okay. So limit h goes to 0, under root 1 minus, so f of h, right? Instead of x, I am going to write h. Okay. If you don't mind, I am going to write h square half. Is it okay? Instead of writing under root, I have written just power half. Okay. Minus f of 0 is 0 over h. Okay. And I have written this half for a purpose, right? Because I want to use binomial. Whenever I want to simplify something like this, I use binomial. Okay. So what do you have? Limit h goes to 0, root of, okay, so what do you get there? 1 minus h square power half. Okay. Remember? Okay, so let's write in general 1 plus x to the power n. What is this? 1 plus nx plus n minus 1 over 2 factorial x square. Okay, this is the binomial expansion of that. Now here I am going to write just first two terms. Okay, 1 minus, okay, the first two term is what? 1 nx, okay, n is this, x is this. So I get minus 1 by 2 h square, okay, over h. I did not write the other terms, okay, because my h is going to 0, okay, and they will, even if I write it, they will all go to 0 because my h is going to 0. Since in the denominator I just have a linear term, on the top I want at most a square. Okay. Now what do you get here? Now let's separate them up, okay, because I want to see if I am approaching h from positive side. Okay. What happens? Okay, you see this gets cancelled, okay, and what is this? This is root 1 by 2 h square. Okay, I think I should have written one more line here. This is what? Limit h goes to 0, okay, root of 1 by 2 h square over h. Okay, and what is this? This is limit h goes to 0. Okay, this is 1 by root 2, and root h square is what? Root h square is modulus of h. Okay, just be careful whenever you write under root h square. It's a modulus of h. Okay. Now let's come here then. Okay. Now if you are moving from 0 from positive side, okay, plus Modulus of h is h. Okay, so you get 1 by root 2 h over h. So this limit value is 1 by root 2. If you are approaching h from negative side, what is happening here? Modulus of h will be minus of h upon h. So this is minus 1 by root 2. Clearly these two are not same, right? So limit doesn't exist at 0, right? Not derivable. So what all points did you get? 0, it's not derivable, just now we saw, and even plus and minus 1 we saw, it's not derivable. Okay, just check if you understood. So just you can quickly brush through again if you want. So this is how we try to solve some problems. Another little different problem, let's try to see. What do you think? Can you solve this? I mean, can you draw the graph of this? It shouldn't be difficult, okay? So even if you use, like, you can write this is sine of, okay, pi by 2 minus x, and start drawing if you know what is in graph of sine inverse of sine of x, that will be fine. But let's not go there, okay? In case you want, you can draw the graph, you already know what is the point where it is not derivable. Second point, first principle I cannot use because I don't know what are the points where it is not differentiable, or what are the points where which can be a point of problem, okay, rough points we say. So we just find the derivative, okay, let's find the derivative. So what do I get? This is the outer function, right? So outer function derivative sine inverse x is 1 over under root 1 minus x square. So this is my x right now, okay, so cos square of x. Inner function derivative minus sine x. So this is my derivative. Let's simplify a little bit more. Sine x upon root sine square x. Any idea what should I write here now? Okay, what is this? Under root of sine square x. Exactly, modulus of sine x. Okay, modulus of sine x. Now this modulus, okay, whenever you get a modulus, you have to be very careful because that is what is creating problem all the time, right? The modulus function. Okay, and can you see that whenever my sine x is 0, this is not defined, 0 by 0, okay, and at what points my sine x is 0? Whenever my x is an integer multiple of pi, okay, then this function is not defined. Okay, now function is not defined, but does the limit exist or not at that particular point? Okay, so let's check with any point. Let's say I want to check at 0, okay, at 0. What happens? Okay, let's see. So I want to find limit x goes to 0 from positive side. What is y prime? Or in fact, I can just write y prime at 0 plus, whichever way I want I can write, okay, this. Now what is the value of y prime if I am approaching 0 from positive side? Okay, what happens to sine function? Okay, this is just sine function, right? This is just sine function. If you are approaching 0 from positive side, then your function sine is positive. Can you see? Y value is positive. So what happens? So you are going to write minus sine x upon, this is positive, so sine x. So what's your slope? Negative 1, right? Now similarly, if you approach from, you got the point, right? So 0 negative, okay, what do you want? Okay, limit, you are going to 0 from negative side, y prime minus sine x divided by, okay, what is this now? Modulus of sine x. If you are approaching 0 from negative side, your sine x is negative, right? So modulus sine of x is what? Minus sine of x. What is this? This is positive 1. Got it? So these two are clearly not equal, right? So if these two are clearly not equal, that what does that mean? That means your function is not derivable at 0 we saw. Okay. What about other points? See for yourself. What will happen at pi? Okay. Okay, so let's say what will happen at 2 pi? Same thing, right? If you are approaching 2 pi from this side, it will be sine function will be negative. Okay, so you will be having plus 1, and from here it will be having minus 1. So all even multiples of pi, you are going to have the same thing. What about the odd multiples of pi? If you are approaching from this side, your function is positive, the opposite. Okay, so these will change. Okay. So plus 1 and minus 1. But the crux of the story is what? It is not differentiable at any of the point. If you understand at 0, you understand at every other integer multiples of pi that it is not differentiable at those points. And if you just look for the graph, how does the graph look like? You will see that it is something like this, 0, and then you have pi, and then you have 2 pi. Okay, so your function looks like, so this is, okay, something like this. Okay, this, and then something like this. Okay, this is a periodic function, so you are going to have the same thing over and over. Yep. Okay, so can you see that's cos of 0? What is that? This is okay, okay, so this is pi by 2. Okay, this is pi by 2 and this is minus pi by 2. So you can plug in the values and check with the for the graph. Great. So have fun. So we learned today what basic rules. I did not discuss with you these. Okay, so just be very well versed with these things. Okay, basic rules of finding derivative and derivatives of elementary functions. Okay, we actually discussed these today. When derivative of the function does not exist, how do we find point of non-derivability, and of course we did some good problems. And upcoming are that more concepts. Okay, so on the top of these concepts we build some more interesting concepts. Those are fun to learn. Okay, and then we can have more challenging problems when we build those concepts. And of course there are beautiful applications of derivatives. So yeah, so if you have doubt, you can always email me, feel free. Okay, you can drop comments, okay, whatever you think. And if you need paid online one-on-one session, you can always email me here. So last thing to say that if you like this video, like, subscribe and help others by sharing. See you. Bye bye.